Hello, sir. My name is Steven. Thank you so much for coming to Ohio State again, Mr. Wallace.
Steven. Glad to be here.
And similar to Michael's question, I actually had a question revolving some of the critiques against the problem of evil and theodicy. One of them kind of revolves around this theological quagmire when a lot of these objections have to do with God's preemptive will and foreknowledge.
Yes.
And one of the 7 factors that you provided in explaining why evil exists is the free agency that human beings have. Well, the objections towards this is, well, if God in his foreknowledge has already predetermined what would happen and already knew what all, I guess, possible scenarios would have been, and he already decreed that before the foundations of the world in eternity past, then how can you say that God justly is essentially the originator or the initiator or instigator of evil at that point? Right? So how do you reconcile... Well, this is like the classical theological question. How do you reconcile humans' free will with the foreknowledge and preemptive plan of God?
Let me put it a slightly different way. I hear it this way. So tell me if you hear it this way too. I hear, okay, so you're saying that as a theist that under atheism...
Yes, I'm operating under the theistic perspective.
But so under atheism, we would say, well, there really isn't any free agency, and even atheists will admit this, some will, like Sam Harris will admit that there's no free agency, that all of the things you're thinking are actually just neurons that are firing in your brain, and they're firing at the behest of prior neurons that are firing over which you had no control. Because all we have is a set of physical, that's called event causation, not agent causation. And so I would say, well, if that's true, then we don't really have that kind of free agency. On the flip side, though, he might say, well, look, you theists believe that God is in complete control and has all that power, and therefore you have no free agency either. Everything has been preordained. God knows the future now. Well, there's a couple of things I would say about that. Number one, that is an ageless debate amongst Christians, and there are several camps of Christians who hold different views on this unbelievable relationship between God's sovereignty in our free agency. I'm probably not going to solve that quagmire for you tonight. But I will say this, the fact that God might know the outcome of a game does not mean he's controlling the people in the game. Any more than there's a game on tonight. There's a football game on right now in the NFL. You guys know who it is? It's not Cincinnati, is it? It is Cincinnati. Why is anybody even here? So look, if you're like me, I don't want to know the end of that game. All right? But if somebody tells me, yells it out right now from the back of the room, okay, I can go home now and know how the game ends, but it doesn't mean I'm controlling the actions of the players, even though I know how the game ultimately ends. But here's the more important thing. Under these two options, a universe that is created and governed by a divine being, or a universe that is really created and operated under physics, only one has the possibility of free agency, in which an all-powerful God might say, no, that's on them. Physics could never do that. Physics could never decide to let go of the process. But a being, an all-powerful being, could let go of the process. Why? How? That's under theological debate. But the point is, there is no debate on the other side. There is no way to get it on the other side. So of these two options, I'm willing to stand over here where I'm not quite sure how that really works, but I know it doesn't work over there.